This is the Trail Viper, and it's completely folded, and it fits in the back of this Cayenne, and the seats aren't even folded down. So this is just spectacular. It's like the only folding electric fat tire bike I've ever seen that has the smaller wheels, but I was really impressed with this. You don't even need a rack, so very cool. Okay, so we got the bike out of the trunk and just sort of folding it as you would with most folding electric bikes, but it's got this nice little extra plastic clip that kind of keeps the lever from coming undone, which is cool. Just sort of folding at the middle right there. And it looks pretty well reinforced right here. This is almost like acts as a handle. And while it was resting on the ground, you know, we were kind of protecting that front chainring and the teeth with this little metal stand. So very cool. It doesn't take very long at all. This is like a folding fat tire bike. I've never seen anything like this before, and it actually rides pretty solid. One of my big concerns was like, man, there's gonna be extra weight with those bigger wheels and tires, and there is, but it actually feels pretty solid. You know, this sort of top tube, down tube integrated section, you can really be tightened down right there. The stem also really sturdy. It's kind of got a height extender option right here, as well as sort of the folding piece. This was in the back of the car as I was showing, and it fit like no problem, even with the seats up. Like, it's just really cool to see any electric bike, folding bike, kind of stowed efficiently like that, because it means you can take it and use it in more places, like a boat or maybe fit it on an airplane. But have something like this that's so fun, you know, with the big tires, they really do make a difference. You're going along and it's kind of bouncy and fun. I'm definitely digging this bike, and it's pretty affordable. It's the same price as the 350 watt Sand Viper, which is $13.99. And it only comes in this one size. I measured the sort of the seat tube is about 17 inches, but I think they sort of custom designed this frame to be have a little bit more reach so that it felt more comfortable. And it does have an adjustable angle stem, so you can kind of angle that, and as I was saying before, it kind of goes up and down. So there's really a lot you can do to make this bike fit right and feel good. And if you want to make it even smaller, it's even got quick release on the front wheel. So definitely dig in all the different thought and sort of customizing that they put into making this a great bike. Not only that, it's got integrated lights. There's a kind of a headlight, and it would have a kind of a brake light. They just didn't bring that. I'm kind of demoing this bike right before they're launching it, and the tail light, it's kind of basic. It uses like AAA batteries and whatnot, but you know, to get that thrown in, it's like, it doesn't hurt. It's going to be easier to accidentally leave it lit, you know, and run those batteries down. And on some of their other bikes, like the Sand Viper, they've got like a rack and stuff. This one doesn't have that, so it's not going to block the light, which is kind of nice. This one also has seat post suspension, which really smooths out the ride. There isn't normal suspension fork or anything, but these tires, you know, if you take them down to like 10 psi, they definitely get a lot spongier. Right now they're at like, you know, 15 or something. They're a little bit harder, so that we can get some of those top speeds more easily for the test. That's great for the concrete. And they come with these sort of knobby tires, 20 inches sort of diameter by 4 inches, and that's the sort of the width. Just like any standard fat bike, and I really dig them. They are a little bit noisier if you're riding on the road because they're knobby, but they work great on trails like we're on here. It's like a little dirt section, and it's actually a pretty peppy bike. You know, it climbs all right. But before I get to that, I'll just call out, it's got a 6-speed Shimano SIS index shifter up here. Every time I see one of these, I'm like, you know, it's kind of a lower quality part. You know, it's kind of basic. But for a fat bike, it's actually pretty good because you might be in the snow, and if you have gloves on, you can easily use this still. It's not like tiny little trigger shifters down there, that a little bit more precision required for those. Here's the 6-speed cog set in the rear, Shimano Tourney TX. It's kind of, you know, lowest that's offered in terms of like quality or whatever, but it's still Shimano parts, and it should stay all right. You know, you just might need more tune-ups, and 6 speeds isn't a whole lot, but because the wheel size is a little bit smaller, and even that front chain ring is smaller, you're going to get good climbing power when you're pedaling. Definitely feels like, especially in the lower gears, there's no problem turning this rear wheel. And that same sort of mechanical advantage applies to the Bafang 350 watt geared motor as well. And this one actually reminds me of the motor from the Saunders bike. It's a little bit fatter. It looks like it was specifically made for fat tire bikes. And I'm not sure if it weighs more or not. I couldn't really get this off to weigh it, but it's definitely taking up more space, and it's probably a little bit more stable for building a fat wheel onto. So anyway, Tektro mechanical disc brakes, 160 millimeter rotors, front and rear. Tektro Novella calipers right here. Decent stuff, you know, it's all right. 160s, okay, especially given the smaller wheel size on these. They also use 160s on their Sand Vipers, which come in 350 and 500 watt versions. And it's a little small for those, you know, it's maybe just enough, but these are going to be easier to tune up. They're cheaper, they help keep that price point down, and they do have the integrated motor inhibitor, and that's great because this has pedal assist and throttle mode, which I'll get to in a minute. So that's kind of a quick overview. Nice looking bike. It's just cool, you know, it's fun. Pedals fold and everything. But they're just kind of plastic, sort of cheapy. There's no bottle cage mounting options on this, but you know, bring a Camelback or something. I guess it's just kind of unique. Oh yeah, and then the battery. This is a 36 volt, 10 amp hour lithium battery. It's got a little battery charge level indicator on it and is removable. The bummer though is that you've pretty much got to take off the seat post in order to get it out, because otherwise they collide. It does have a little handle built in, which is nice. Locks and everything. We got a key here. One of the other downsides to this battery design is that you have to leave the key in when riding, which means if you have a keychain or something, it can kind of jingle and hit your frame. It's not terrible. A lot of batteries are like this, the kind of the silverfish design, and I like that at least it keeps the weight low and centered on the bike versus, you know, having like a big rear rack or something like that. It almost seems like, you know, there's threaded eyelets right here. You could probably add a rack to this if you wanted to, and maybe even fenders. You can see some more threaded eyelets. So they've really given you a lot of options, and even where the light is on the front, it seems like you could do a lot with this. It's a good platform. Definitely feels overbuilt and solid. So, okay. Oh yeah, and Velo Plush Saddle. The other Sand Vipers, they've got like bigger saddles, but this one's a little smaller, more active, and doesn't take up as much room if you're folding this down. Okay, so, and the kickstand. Man, I almost forgot this. A lot of bikes, you know, they kind of got in the middle or whatever. This just feels like it stays out of the way when you're pedaling, and it's a pretty solid kickstand. I haven't had any problem with the bike feeling like it was going to tip over. And that's nice. Like, I know these are little things, and maybe not everyone cares about it, but it's a bummer when you get a fat bike and lean it up in your garage because there's no kickstand and then it tips into your car or something. So the fact that they put a good kickstand on it definitely appeals to me. Okay, there we go. Just gonna hop on this thing. So once the key is in the battery and it's twisted to on, you're gonna use this little ring over here, this control pad, to activate the bike. Press the power button right here for a couple seconds. The display comes to life. And this is a Bafang, it's kind of a control unit right here, okay? So you've got plus and minus, and if you hold the plus for a couple seconds, backlighting switches on the screen, and that also activates your headlight right there, which is nice. If you hold down on the negative there, it actually enters walk mode. So I'm holding it and see it's just really slow. That's kind of nice on a bike like this because it's a little heavier, you know, and if you were just walking next to the bike up a hill or something, it's sort of a European thing. Nice little extra. And it starts in pedal assist level 1, which is good because in pedal assist 0, nothing works. There's no throttle mode. You're just running like a bicycle, and this display acts as like a cycle computer. It gives you feedback on your speed and stuff. And what we've got here at the top left is a battery, and it's not super fine increments. There's just like 4 bars, but you know, it's good. Got your assist level down here, speed, miles per hour, time, trip meter, odometer. There's a lot of different settings in here. You can kind of get in and explore and change the different settings a little bit. The top speed I've reached is about 20 miles per hour, which is pretty good. And again, you get quite a few levels of assist to choose from. So the default are 9 of them. So that doesn't mean you're getting like a wider range of power. It just means that you're getting smaller increments, and you can kind of like fine tune it. And for us, you know, a bike with smaller wheels and stuff, that's actually really nice. It's great to be able to kind of dial it in and get that perfect speed, you know, and using pedal assist. It does have a 12 magnet cadence sensor, so it's nice and smooth. It's very responsive, and sometimes in the highest level, it's almost like, whoa, like that's really responsive. So I tend to start on the lower levels. The great thing is that starting at 1 all the way up to 9, you've got throttle override, so you don't have to pedal at all to get the bike started. You can just, you know, twist that throttle. There we go. Yeah. Full power. So that's really satisfying. You know, we're climbing, it's like a gentle hill on dirt, and we're like up to 16 miles per hour pretty quickly. So I like that. And if you want, you can actually shut this throttle completely off, and then you just go back to pedal assist like that. I'll take it up to a higher assist level now, all the way up to 9. Change the gears. Oh boy. It's fun. Just kind of bouncing through the trail here. Really good seating position. You know, it's very adjustable, and that's something I'm not used to in a folding electric bike. A lot of times they feel kind of delicate, but this one's, it feels solid. There's just good momentum that it picks up. Got a nice little disconnect here for the motor. And the cables, you know, they're hidden pretty well. They're kept out of the way, but they aren't completely internally routed. You know, you've got the controller box down here below the battery, and the charger port right here. The charger on this bike, it's about 1.3 pounds. It's pretty nice. You know, it's just one of those little plastic ones, small, easy to take with you if you need to top this off. So I like that, and it's even got like kind of a metal like end point on the charger, so it should be a little bit tougher. Definitely like that. So yeah, that's the Trail Viper, kind of the first folding electric fat bike I've tried, and definitely enjoyed it. Feel like it's a pretty good value and a great option to consider if you like the Sand Viper but maybe need something smaller, something that would be easy to take along with you. I really like it. This is a cool bike. For the full write-up, the pictures and the community and everything, I'll see you back at ElectricBikeReview.com.